Got some questions, Luke.
I was wondering why I had the camera out. What is it? Go on.
People have been asking. Well, actually, it's more general talk.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people these days who dream of living, you know, on an off-grid farm in the middle of the forest.
Yeah.
In the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And,
I should correct you quickly. It's not nowhere. It's exactly where you want to be, in the middle of nature. But yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, I haven't lived here my whole life. It was only the last 2 years. 2 years since we moved here now. Before that, we were living in England. At a piece of land in my parents' house where I started the channel and started growing food. And I always knew I was going to move away, move to better lands, find a warmer climate to grow more food. No, but seriously, find a place.
What age did you think that?
I was going to say, seriously, I knew, from a young age, when I was in school, when I started growing food, I think I was like 16 when I started growing food, 16 to 17. And as soon as I started getting into that whole world, I realised what I wanted to do. Basically, I wanted to live a life more connected to nature, growing more food in a climate that is more suited to growing food year round and fruit year round. I mean, here in the Mediterranean, it's just unbelievable for growing food. I mean, there's an avocado tree right there, an orange tree right there. So much potential to grow food.
And it's December now.
And it's December right now. I always knew I wanted to do that. And in fact, that was one of the sort of the goals we had. It wouldn't really have been possible if we didn't set our mind early on it and actually work towards a goal, because just from the traditional path you led down through school, education, get a job, 9-to-5 job, get promoted, that kind of stuff, you won't end up in a position where you're able to leave the system and have the finances to buy a piece of land. Not that it has to be expensive, but buy a piece of land and live somewhere remote where you can survive.
Because here it's difficult to actually have a job in a foreign country.
It's difficult to have a job here unless you have your own business where you can work remotely, or you're good at speaking Spanish and you can really get into the local community. But that's not me quite yet. I'm still learning my Spanish.
What about teaming up as well? In fact, now let's go back to the original question. Put aside all the self-sufficiency element.
In fact, quick interjection, because we have actually just become off-grid for the first time ever. This last couple of weeks, we've just had our solar system installed. So I will do a full video on that in the future, because there's a lot of things I want to talk about. Why we decided to actually invest in solar, because it's not the most financially sensible investment in terms of what you're going to get for your money, but it gives us so many more benefits, which I'll go into in a deeper video. And even how we chose to set up the solar, like where we chose to put the inverter, that kind of stuff.
Well, I was going to say, what does it actually entail going fully off-grid?
Going fully off-grid?
Because we are officially off-grid, but what does that mean?
Yeah, well, you need to, I don't know, I'd say you have to be 100% self-sufficient, but you need to take an element of control of your own food, have your own water supply, like a spring or a well or that kind of thing, your own energy, so solar, firewood, your own shelter, your own house, and ideally debt-free as well, so no one else can have their hands in your property and your freedom. Because that, it really is, like having your own piece of land in the middle of nature, debt-free, is your ticket to freedom. Yeah, having your own sun, unpolluted skies, because unfortunately, again, in England, in the UK, I've seen it over the last 5 years get gradually worse and worse. Plane trails, whether it's contrails, chemtrails, whatever it is, the skies are cloudy by plane trails almost all the time. And it's so rare to get just clear sky days like this in the middle of December.
I'd say any major city now.
Yeah, and even when the sun does get through it, it's unfortunately very weak. You don't get enough sunlight anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, clean air, again, seriously undervalued. And it's one of those things, again, when you're actually here, you realise how good it is. When we're actually driving out to civilization, which is about an hour from here, you go to the chaos of the city, all the traffic, the pollution, the sounds, all this kind of thing. You arrive back here and you just get out and you can hear a pin drop. The air just smells like a fresh forest, and the clear skies. It's just like, peace of mind, ultimate peace of mind. And that is exactly what you're buying when you're buying a piece of land in nature. You just want to buy peace of mind. Not to mention how good the food, the nutrition from the food that you grow on your own piece of land compared to what you can buy. But again, I think you know my opinions on that, and I'll cover that in a different video if you haven't already seen it.
I wanted to, this video, Luke, I was more wanting to ask about the actual lifestyle. Because people know about the pros to owning your own land and having access to your own energy, food, resources, all that.
Yeah.
But just the lifestyle.
lifestyle. Yeah.
Is it as good as people say?
Yeah. For me, it's not just peace of mind. It's just the most satisfying thing to wake up knowing that you can change your land and just create your own dream. Like I said, even in the UK, where I had a decent sized piece of land to work with, which was quite free, like I'm very grateful to have that much land to begin with, but knowing that it's still limited, it's confined by the surrounding fields, surrounding landscape, farm fields, and not pristine nature around it, and
So you're not confined here,
not a pristine ecosystem. Whereas here, I don't feel confined. We've got a big chunk of land here, and it's very good. A lot of it is growing space, the rest of it is just forest, which I call a buffer from society, a protective buffer. Because where you own, if you don't want somebody to do anything on it, just if you can own it.
So you want to live on the property by yourself?
No. So here again, you're talking to me. So I've got two brothers on this property working with me. In fact, backtrack again. If you are actually looking to do a project like this, and you really are serious about moving out, buying a piece of land in a different country even, try and find some people close to you to team up with, because it makes things so much easier. Like, I couldn't have done this, it was just me by myself. I'm very fortunate to have Jack and Mark, my two brothers, helping me do this. Another thing I've seen people fall into the trap of is starting projects like this, and actually the partner they've teamed up with, so not like a family member, just change their path and actually cause the whole thing to fall apart. You don't want to have that. You don't want to invest so much time and effort into building the piece of land, planting fruit trees for the future, and then plans just change. So you want to find some people who are truly, in it for the long run, think very alike, and you get on with, and then you can make the dream work.
What would you say to people? Because there's a lot of people who say, "Well, I'd love a piece of land, but I can't afford it."
Well, I definitely wouldn't say give up on the dream, because even if you can't afford it now, that doesn't mean don't ever try and get what you want. Just because you can't get it now doesn't mean you won't be able to in the future. I would honestly say this is where it comes down to finding a way to make money. Like, it's not my job to tell you how to make money. It's my job to tell you how to spend your money. I want you to, look at alternative ways.
So you're giving financial advice?
No financial advice. All I can say is from my experience of what we've done here. We've worked very hard to be in a position to be able to do this. And if you are currently looking to buy land and you can't afford it, then that's just one of those things. Keep it as a dream. Keep it as like a vision to work towards, and actually motivate yourself with that vision, and maybe start a side hustle, get a business going, whatever it is, whatever it takes. And
but you're saying this is a good investment at the end of that journey?
Yeah, this is the ultimate investment. Even if it doesn't fall on the standard lines of an investment where you get a return on your money, it's not just about returning your money. You want to get to a position, to me the ultimate freedom is to get to a position where you no longer need money. You're completely self-sufficient, you've got everything you need. Like I said, solar is a really good example of that, because any time in the future now where we want energy and electricity, we won't have to pay for electrical bills. So you're basically parking your money into something where it's got true value, and where you don't need to spend money in the future. And that is the ultimate freedom. Ultimate freedom. When you're buying a piece of land, you're buying freedom, health, self-sufficiency, and peace of mind. Let's face it. And not only that, just a better life quality. Because I can't say enough how much better the life quality is here versus what it would have been like if I was in the UK in a job where I wasn't able to do this. This is what I always wanted to do. This is what I've worked very hard to do and make happen.
I think this is what humans are meant to do.
Yeah, I think it's an innate thing in humans to want to be responsible and steward and care for the land. You feel
just to live closer to nature.
Well, yeah.
But actually having your own land is probably a big part of it as well.
Yeah, being connected to nature, having your hands actually in the soil physically rather than just detached from it.
So would you say people need to actually own their own land, or is it good enough to just live in a natural area of the world and visit nature regularly?
Well, if you don't own your own land, you can't truly build on the land. You can't start a food forest. You can't start growing your own food. You can't invest in the land. And when you own your own land, let's say debt-free, it's quite important. That is when no one can tell you what you can and can't do on it. And
But do
Yeah,
you
for
need?
the
Do you
future.
really need your own food supply, Luke?
Yeah, again, this is. You probably know my opinion if you watch this channel, but very undervalued in society is getting good quality food. And when I say good quality food, I mean true food, how it's meant to taste and how it's meant to be grown. Because most of the food that's available in the supermarkets, even farmers markets, just isn't good enough. And even just finding food from a source that you can trust can be very challenging. If you can find something, most of the time it's actually quite expensive because you have to go to a very niche farm that understands the value they have to offer.
Well, it's easy, isn't it? If you don't actually eat that much produce, it doesn't make sense. But when that is your food, your diet.
Well, this is why I say as well, like before you get serious on growing food or owning land, actually think about what you want to do and what you want to eat, what you want to grow, because this not only will dictate where you want to move to. Now, if you want to eat just tropical fruit all year round, then you have to go to a tropical climate, don't you? And for me, the Mediterranean fruits actually stood out. They're the one that, arguably to me, the best tasting and best selection of fruits on the planet. Hence why I moved right into the Mediterranean, because we wanted to make it possible. Yeah, very, very good decision, joint decision, and I don't regret it at all. And yeah, keep the dream. If you are thinking about doing it, just work on it and make it happen, because it's well worth it. Yeah.